Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining our webinar, Transform Your Warehouse Management with Business Central. My name is Mitesh, and I will be kicking off today's session. Before we get started, let me introduce Kevin Fiji, a Business Central consultant with extensive experience in warehouse management. Over the year, Kevin has worked on many projects helping businesses simplify and improve their distribution operation using a powerful platform like Business Central. And finally, as I mentioned, I'm Mitesh Rathod, your host for webinar, and I'm a sales director here at Navision Tech in specializing Microsoft 365 licensing and ISV add-ons. As a sales director, I wear many hats and I guide our team to deliver a top-notch solution and build a strong relationship with clients and ensure find the right tools for their business needs. And today's webinar agenda will cover about us, advantages of using Business Central Warehouse Management, solution overview, customer references, licensing capabilities. We will also have Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So please feel free to submit your questions throughout the presentation, and we will do our best to answer as many as we can. Excuse me. And a little bit about us. Navision Tech is a
Mitesh, you're not sharing your
screen.
slide deck.
Oh, I'm sorry. How about now? Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. Extremely sorry. A little bit about us. Navision Tech is a top-notch provider of Microsoft ERP software and services, and specializing in helping small and medium-sized businesses to get their ducks in a row. We are a team of passionate about individuals who are dedicated to your success. Our focus on Microsoft 365 Business Central and its supporting tools, but more importantly, on helping you succeed. We make sure you and your team have the knowledge you need to confidently use this powerful platform. At Navision Tech, we are all about setting companies up for success and they can hit the ground running and stay ahead of the game. Without further delay, let me hand over to Kevin to get us started. Over to you, Kevin.
Thank you, Mitesh. Today we're going to talk about the advantages of the built-in WMS platform within Business Central and the seamless integration that it presents to you when you use Business Central. All the built-in tools are right there for you, from picking and managing your inventory, being able to run reports on those key performance indicators for tracking your inventory and reporting. So today in our overview, we're going to go over the basic setups and the setups within the system and how you can use that to your advantage to increase efficiencies and operations. So Natasha, if you want to go to the next slide.
And Business Central is not just the warehouse management software, but it also a comprehensive business management solution that brings together your critical business processes into a single solution. With Business Central, all your business data is centralized, making it easier to access and analyze and manage in the single platform. This includes everything from financial data and sales figure to the customer service and supply chain information as well. Having a single source of truth allows you to streamline processes, removing duplicate data entry and business works. Because Business Central unifies a data, with unifies data, you can get faster and more accurate reporting. With business with business intelligence and real-time insights across the department. Business Central also is the first management solution of Microsoft Copilot to boost productivity and improve business performance. With next generation AI, I'm sure you're aware about AI is a big topic right now, and there are a lot more to explore here. These are these are the few of reason Microsoft have trusted over the 40,000 customers, small and medium sized industry, and it was the best ERP in 2024 by the Forbes advisor. And without further delay, we will move forward with the solution overview of Microsoft Dynamics 365 Warehouse Management.
All right. Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Thank you, Mitesh. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the base setups of WMS within Business Central, starting with from the location, your location options within Business Central. Oh, oh. So here we have multiple locations set up in our demo environment that showcase the versatility of Business Central and allowing you to set up different combinations of how you want to manage a location and your inventory at that location in your warehouse. So this silver location is just a bin mandatory location. Really simple. It just means that on every transaction that you require a bin whenever an item's put away, whenever an item's picked, no matter when that item comes into your system, it has to be sitting in a bin to track its location. We have a location here called Kevin's Warehouse where we have bin mandatory turned on, and then a few other settings require receive, shipment, put away, and it allows us to have a little bit more control over specifically what we want, and we can handle this. It's not fully advanced WMS warehousing, but it's an option that allows you to set up, and you can see the different options that we've just defaulted here. And then you have location here that we call WMS that is a fully directed put and pick away location. And you can see here, once that's turned on, it hard codes these other settings on the location. And it hard codes that a warehouse pick is mandatory for everything. And so that setting, you have the versatility there to set that up however you would like. You still have to define all your bins that go with that. So you have a receiving bin, a shipping bin. If you do assemblies or production, you can define those bins as well and how they come into play within your warehouse. An adjustment bin for doing cycle counts and such. Bin policies related to the bins that you have in your warehouse. So for our WMS, we have that it's never going to check capacity of a bin. We allow break bulk, which means we can store items in different units of measure, and the system will automatically break them down from cases to eaches to help with picking and efficiency within the warehouse. Put away template code is in use that helps the system. You can build different template codes so that when you receive your inventory in, it'll recommend to put it away intelligently. You can have a default code here on the location, or items can have an individual code assigned directly to them for how you would like them to be put away as well. You have an option to use a put away worksheet, or just always have the system create a put away anytime a PO is received. Currently, we're using the always create put away. And then for our picking, the pick policy is by bin ranking, and then we're always creating a pick line, and we're picking according to first expired, first out when applicable. So the base setup of our WMS starts with, in this case, we have zones that represent different areas of our warehouse, and kind of break down pretty simple. We have a receiving zone where we receive things in, shipping. We have a picking zone for small picking bins. We have a bulk area for bigger bulk items that we pick but need more space. And then we have just a plain storage zone where we are going to put away inventory that we don't want to pick from. Here you can see we have a few bins that exist within our location WMS. You can see what zones they belong to. You can see here the bin ranking. And so our pick bins have the highest bin ranking as we want to pull inventory from them first. And then you can see our put away. We have some bins that are put away only, meaning that we don't ever pick from them. We just store things there, and then we'll replenish to our bins that are pick or put pick based off need and what needs to be moved around. So when setting up a WMS location, an important thing to do is set up warehouse employees for all your employees based off the location code. And you can see here that we have multiple users set up to work in this location code, and they're defaulted to this location as, so when they go to create a sales order, this is the default location that these users work in. And if we clear this filter, you can see that users can have multiple locations that they're set up to work in, but only one can be their default location. So my users set up to work in every location in this demo environment, but it's defaulted to the WMS location that we're looking at today. So next, we're going to look at the receiving process. So when you turn on WMS, you're going to use warehouse receipts to receive in your goods. So here we have, you can have a whole list of warehouse receipts if you have lots of things coming inbound. Right now, we just show one warehouse receipt that exists currently from a purchase order that was out there. The way the warehouse receipt exists, and if you have a handheld device through like a third-party add-on such as Tasklet or InsightWorks has a couple of different options there, a free version, and they have their WMS Express and their WMS version of handheld scanners as well. You can receive on a handheld scanner, but you don't have to have that to use the warehouse receipt functionality within Business Central. You can do it right from the computer, and it would look like this screen here, where you're going to see the receipt number it's located, what bin it's coming into. You can change your posting date. If you want to have this be specific to a specific user, you can do that, but it allows the user to come in. They can see the item they're getting, the quantity, the ability to change that quantity. If they don't want to receive the full value, they could say, hey, we're supposed to get 150. I'm only going to get 100. I can post my receipt. You can see here now that my warehouse receipt has updated. I was supposed to receive 150. I've received 100. I have 50 left to receive. I can see the quantity that's coming per unit of measure, that it's case. And I could receive the rest of this at a later point in time, or maybe it never shows up, so I just leave that receipt hanging out. So when we receive that in, we automatically have putaways turned on, so we can go to warehouse putaways. And we'll see here that a putaway was created for that hand soap item that we had just received in. So you can see here it tells us that hand soap is sitting in our zone code and bin receiving. The 100 we just received in is sitting there. It has used the default putaway template code to recommend that we put it in the bulk bin, and we put it in this A1 2 bin. If I want to change this, I have the full ability. I could change this to a different bin if I don't like the bin the system suggests. Let's say I wanted to put it in this bin. I could select this bin. It's overwritable to that. Let's say I even wanted to split how much of this I was going to put away. So I only want to, let's say 50 come on a pallet, right? And I want to split it into 2. I have the ability to change the quantity to handle the 50, click split line, and now I can place the other 50 in a different pallet spot right from here. So then I could say I want to put 50 in this spot and 50 in that spot. And then when I register, it's going to put them in each spot. Or if I even wanted to put, let's say 50 of, I want to put some level of these away into a different bin, I could change it again. I can even change the unit of measure if I wanted to change this from cases to eaches. I have the ability right here on the put away to say, I would like this to be put away in eaches. So if you have items that require that you purchase via each, but when you get it in, it comes in cases, but on the purchase order, you can always change that unit of measure at the put away to make it easier for cycle counting to say, hey, we store this as cases, not eaches in our warehouse, but we're forced to buy it from the vendor as eaches, or vice versa. You're forced to buy it as cases to get price breaks. You can switch that around and then you can receive it in either way by changing the unit of measure. So you can see it automatically does the conversion. And so it would say that we're going to put 600 eaches away into that bulk bin now because we converted those 50 cases in the eaches. So I'm going to go ahead and change that back to cases though. And it'll put it right back as well. So then we register our put away, which will then update that item that we have put it away in our warehouse, and we could go to bin contents. And here's an overview of all items, and right now, all locations. So if we do WMS, because that's what we're interested in, we can see all of our different bins within the WMS location. And go forward. So the item we just put away, we can see here, here's the 50 that we put into A121, and then here's the other 50 we put into A122, right? And that if there were any picks related to these or putaways, you can see here that there's a put away outstanding for this item, saying that there's 1,200 of them that needs to be put away on a document, and that's on put away 3. So you have full visibility from this bin content screen into what's going on in your warehouse, what's ready to be picked, if it's on a pick for an assembly order, if it's on a put away, even if it's in a positive adjustment through an item journal, you can see that as well. So bin contents, and you have the ability to filter here. Like if you had lots of items and you just wanted to see a specific item, we could come in and filter it down really quick to see what's available just for our item 1007. We can see all the bins it's in. We can see what the default bin, meaning where we typically pick it from. That's our default pick spot for the each unit of measure exists. So now on the opposite side, obviously, you do have the ability to use a put away worksheet if you want, which allows you to receive in multiple purchase orders and then pull them into one document and create a large put away for, say, across multiple items or containers that come inbound. We currently don't have that turned on in this environment, but that functionality is available to you if you want to use a put away worksheet to manage putting away multiple POs at one time in your warehouse. Now on the outbound side, we're using warehouse shipments related to our sales orders. So for every sales order, a warehouse shipment gets created. And so we have a list of warehouse shipments here that we can see their status of whether they've been released, if they've been partially picked or completely picked. You can see what location code they're associated with. And you can create a pick directly from a warehouse shipment. You can come in, there's the option to create a pick right from the warehouse shipment. You can assign the pick to a specific user. So if I wanted to have Mitesh pick this, I could come in and say, hey, this pick is going to go specifically to Mitesh. I can determine how the lines on the pick activity would sort to have him walk through the warehouse. So whether it's going to go by item number, if we had multiple documents, document number, if it's going to go by shelf or bin, meaning in the orders of the shelf, or by bin ranking. Since this is just one item, no matter what I select wouldn't change the order in which it's going to tell him to pick it, because it's only available in one location. It's only one item to pick. So we'll just leave it blank. So we'll click OK. You can see here, it says a pick has been created. And so that's a way to create an individual pick right from a warehouse shipment and specifically assign it to a user, or you could leave it unassigned and it would just be out there for any user to pick. We also have the ability to use a pick worksheet. So from our pick worksheet, we can pull in all of the warehouse shipments and even assembly orders that exist in our system. So here we'll select all of these. And it'll only pull in, so like warehouse shipment 004, we just created the pick for that. So since a pick exists, it will look at that warehouse shipment and it's going to skip over it, even though we selected it. It's not going to pull it in because the pick already exists. So you can see it started at 05 and pulled in 06, 7, and then it pulled in shipment 8, has 3 lines on it, which is right here. So once we pull this in, we have the ability from within the pick worksheet now, we can see like which customers these are going to. We could sort by customer, like if we only wanted to send to a specific customer, we could come here and say, I only want to ship to this customer. I'd say filter to this value. And now I'm only going to see orders that belong to that customer. Same way if I had a bunch of the same item, like I want to pick all of these 007 at the same time, I could filter to this value. And then I could even, let's say I just want to pick cases because I can just put a label on a case and send it out the door. I could filter down to where I only see that item in the case form, and I could create picks all at once for that item. So if I click to create pick, it'll create that pick, and then it clears my filters and it pulls all of the other lines back into my worksheet that were just filtered out, and I have the ability to filter again. If I don't want to give all of one item out on when I'm fulfilling this, I have the ability to change quantity of the handle and say I only want to pick 8 of these 16. I'm not going to give them all 16. Maybe we don't have the inventory. I have the ability to adjust that right here when I'm creating my picks. You can also so from the create picks screen here, we have the ability to create picks in different, I guess, variances, if you'd say. So you can create picks per warehouse document, which means every warehouse document is your warehouse shipment. So like right now, if we did per warehouse document, it would create 3 separate picks, one for this line, one for this line, and then one for these 3 lines. If we uncheck this, we say we want 5 warehouse documents per pick. And then it would just, every 5 warehouse documents, no matter how many lines, it would put those 5 on one pick. So if you had 20 different warehouse documents in here, it would create 4 different picks with multiple, and the number of lines would just vary depending on what's on each order. If you don't care about if the warehouse documents get split up when you're picking, you can even pick based off number of pick lines. So you could just say, I want every pick to have 20 lines, but you don't care about whether or not if it matches up or not, right? You can also pick per customer vendor, where it'll put if you have multiple customers, it'll put the same customers or same vendors or all on one pick. So if we had 3 or 4 other customers in here, like if customer 4000 was in here a few more times, it would put all of theirs on one pick. It would separate it out by customer, by vendor. You can also use these in conjunction with each other as well, per warehouse document, per customer vendor. You can do per zone if you have people, if you have requirements like things that picking bins are up high and you use an order picker maybe or something like that, and you want to create a pick to give to a specific user. It's a good way to do a pick by zone and then also assign it to that user, and then they'll know that they have to use an order picker to pick those items up from up high in your warehouse. Same way with per bin. You can do it per date as well, when it's due. And again, you can set the sorting method for when you assign these picks. So if it picks them per, so like if we do shelf or bin, so it snakes them kind of through our warehouse and per warehouse document, it'll create one pick per document, and then that pick will be sorted by the shelf or bin. Break bulk filter is useful if you do not want to see lines that tell users to break down inventory from. Let's say you store something by the pallet, you sell it by the case, but you buy it by the pallet, and the system will automatically take that pallet and break it down into 50 cases based off units of measure. But if you want to see, you can set this so you don't have to see those lines on a pick. It'll just tell the user to go and take 2 cases. Otherwise, if you don't turn that on, it'll tell them that they've got to take 1 pallet, place it back in the same location as 50 cases, and then take 2 cases from that location. So that filter's there if you want to hide that information. You can also not fill in the quantity to handle, which will force whoever's registering the pick to have to type in the quantity they pick. Otherwise, you can leave that on and it auto fills in. And then the ability to print the pick as well. If you need paper copy to go with that pick. So we're going to create our picks per warehouse document, per shelf and bin. And so now we can navigate to warehouse picks. And we'll see that we have a different group of picks here that now exist. We can see the pick we created that was assigned specifically to Mitesh, and then we can see the other picks that were created that are not assigned to any user, and we can see the number of lines on each pick that need to be registered. So for this one, we can see here that we need to go pick 10 cases of hand soap. It's sending us out to pick those. It tells us which bin we're going to take them from, and then we're going to take and place them in our shipping bin or area so that they can be sent out for the sales order. So go pick it. You can, yet again, let's say you don't find 10 cases. If you only find 9, you can update this on here to say, hey, I only found 9 of these, and register it. And let's say I had to pick the other one from another bin, I could change this and say, oh, I took one of them from this bin, right? And so now I'm gonna, instead of I didn't pick all 10 from that other bin, I could say I picked 1 from this bin. And so then that pick is registered. And if we went back to our warehouse shipments, we would now see that that warehouse shipment has been completely picked, the document status update. So we can come in, we can see here that our picked quantity is updated. It says 10 have been picked. Our quantity to ship automatically filled in. And now this order is ready to be processed through, and you can post the shipment. This pick is for an assembly item. So you can see here that this we're picking a variety pack item. It's picking some medium salsa, some hot salsa, and some mild salsa to create a variety pack item. So you can see here it wants you to go pick mild salsa, put it in the assembly bin. You got to take the hot salsa, break it down from the case to the each, right? And then take those eaches, put them in the assembly bin. Same way with the medium salsa, put them in the assembly bin, and then they would be ready to ship out. But we don't have the mild salsa in stock, so we're not going to pick that because we would end up not having inventory of it to complete our assembly. We can register this other hand soap that we picked, 8 each is the bin that it comes from. So we register this one as well. So we went and we picked these. And we can register the pick that Mitesh has as well. And so now that's pushed through. And we could go back to our warehouse shipments. And we can see that these ones have all been completely picked and are ready to be shipped out. Now, after we've picked inventory, we need to restock. So we have the ability to restock inventory through movement worksheets. So from our movement worksheet, we can decide to select an item manually. Like I could come in and pick the hand soap manually, and I could say I want to click into my from bin, and I could pick a bin that I want to take it from. Like I want to take from this bin some cases, and gotta change that unit of measure to match the unit of measure that I want to pick. So I want to pick these cases, and then I want to put those cases in my picking bin in a picking bin. I want to go put them in this picking bin. And I want to put 3 of them there. So I could say here that I want to send someone in the warehouse to go take 3 cases from the bulk area and go put them in the pick bin. And I create my movement. Now the movement exists, and it's going to tell me place those there. If I don't want those items in my picking bin to be in the case form, I want them to be in the each form for when I pick smaller orders. I can change the unit of measure here from case to each, and it would tell me to place them there as 36 eaches so that I have eaches available for smaller orders when somebody would order 2 or 3 at a time. And then I would still have cases available in my bulk spot for my bigger orders of case lots. So I'm going to delete this movement. We also have the ability from the movement worksheet to calculate bin replenishment. So for WMS, if we click calculate bin replenishment, it's going to look at all of our bins and min max, and it's going to suggest what items need to be moved from where and where they need to be put based off some settings we set up on the bin. So you can see here for the hand soap item, it is recommending when we calculated bin replenishment for us to go get from here, we need to get 48 each. We're going to get 48 things of soap or eaches of soap to put into our pick bin. And then for the salsa, it recommended that we need to pick 36 medium salsa eaches and put into our pick bin, but it didn't give us a bin to take from. So we can click in, and this is a list of all the bins currently where salsa is. So we can hand select that bin since it didn't realize which bin we should take the bulk from. So we'll create our movement. And then in our movement, you'll see here that the hand soap, it automatically built in the breakdown that we were talking about previously. So it told you to go get 4 cases from that bulk bin. It says to place them right back in that same bin as 48 eaches, and then take those 48 eaches and place them in the picking bin. Same thing it did here with the medium salsa. It said to take 3 cases, and then the system's doing a conversion from unit of measure case to each, and telling you to put 36 eaches into these bins. So we'll register that. And so then that would be a movement where you would go out, you'd move that item, you'd take it from one bin, place it in the other. The way we define what those items, what the settings were so that it knew how to calculate that is on the item card under bin contents. So if we go to the item hand soap and related warehouse bin contents, we can see all of the different bins that this item's in, and we can see here that we have a min and a max quantity set for the item on this pick bin. So anytime it gets below 24 eaches, it's going to recommend that you restock that bin to 60 eaches. And so then when you run that calculate bin replenishment, it looks at that, sees that you're below there, and then recommended 48 because we must have been at 24. So it recommended 48 to get us back. So you can also, here's where you set up which bins are default and fixed as well. If you have any fixed or default bins, you can only have one default bin, but you can have multiple fixed bins. So if I always want to store like my bulk pallet in, say, this spot that's on the ground, I could mark that as fixed as well. And this would be I could have this as a fixed bin that would come into play in my put away method. So if I'm putting away inventory and I could say that my minimum quantity here is 20 and my maximum quantity is 50, that's the most it would recommend if that was ever below 20 that you put away inventory there. Sometimes people don't want to break down pallets like that, so it's easier just to leave it as 0 and 0. And then it'll just recommend that you put a whole new pallet away in its own empty location when it comes in, based off the default put away template. From, sorry, I forgot one thing. In bin contents, you do also have the ability to see what's available to take right here. So you can see based off the unit of measure, this is the quantity in each one of these locations that's available to be moved. So if there were picks or movements that existed, this number would go down because they would be taken by other transactions in the warehouse. So if we created a pick for, say, 12 eaches of this hand soap, you would see that pick quantity show up here, and then this quantity would go from 60 down to 48. And if you have lot numbers for items, they're also tracked here, so you can see the lot for each item when you're in bin content. To view the history of the item, we have warehouse entries as well that tie with everything that we do. So you can see all of the different types of movements in the history of this item throughout our warehouse, where it was received, when it was put away, who moved it. You can even personalize and add in a user ID if you want to be able to see the specific user who did the registrations and so forth. But you can see here our different movements. And if it was picked for an order, it'll flow through with the source document in the order that those items were picked for and sat in the shipping bin. And if we had shipped them out, we didn't ship any of our orders, but you would see another line if we went through and we processed. So if we go ship order 00025, so we'll go ship a couple of these warehouse shipments. Why is so we'll post this shipment, post ship. So this is officially deducting it out of our inventory. So it's when you ship it, that is the sign that it left the shipping bin. Right now, they're just sitting in the shipping bin. You can see here it says zone code, bin code shipping. They're just sitting there waiting till they get posted and shipped out. And so we can go back to our item now, related item. Hold on. This is 3. And now we'll see our new warehouse entries where we did truly shipped out that inventory and it left. You can see it's a negative adjustment and is gone. We can also filter here. So if you wanted to filter to a specific value, you can filter down and track, hey, this was picked. It was picked from this bin, set in the shipping bin. You can see the dates that those things were registered on. So like if for some reason something gets picked and gets sat in the shipping bin, you could see when it was picked and sat in there and by who. If you need to know who, you can personalize and add that column into this page so you can see which user did the picking or even the shipping. Maybe it's 2 separate people who pick and ship within your system. You can also see ledger entries that'll tie back to just the purchase and the sale of that item and the remaining quantities that are left. So your warehouse entries will give you a much deeper look into the actual transactions that happened within your warehouse. But for a simple financial look, you can look at item ledger entries and see your purchases and sales and cost and so forth. So it's a good breakout to look at the difference. That covers our base overview of the WMS system. Those are the base functionalities within Business Central. Obviously, using a handheld scanner in your warehouse makes a lot of sense, and there's multiple companies that work with Business Central to where you can get a handheld scanner, and you would do a lot of that picking and receiving processes on those scanners. But it's all built off the base functionality that's right within Business Central. Nitesh, do you want to?
Thank you so much, Kevin, for the lovely presentation for Business Central Warehouse Management. And if somebody's willing to know like how it can be done through the mobile WMS, so these are the device. If you can see on the camera like this, it comes with the various brands. So the one which I have, this is a Zebra handheld mobile device, and there are like many other companies there which you can have like Honeywell or Data Logic. So there are a few models out there which you can try, and we can also send it to you guys if you are interested in any of this warehouse management um, mobile device. And let me go back to my presentation. And these are our Business Central customer who use Business Central. And right there, you will see Sullivan Supply, Dunlop Bay's Iowa company, and they have successfully implemented Business Central last year. And this transition has empowered them to streamline their entire operation through the unified single platform. And likewise, Juliska, a luxury tableware product distribution in North Carolina, they have also implemented Business Central, and they now can able to use their distribution and e-commerce platform using Business Central ERP. And furthermore, we have Spray Market. They have also implemented the whole supply chain and inventory management, and as a result they gain the real-time updates on the stock levels and making it easier to distribute product to their customer more effectively. And this is the Business Central capabilities, what you can do with it. So as you can see, the Business Central comes with warehouse management and the whole supply chain module. And as you can see on the bottom, there's a manufacturing module also comes with it, and that comes in the premium uh, module of Business Central. So you can see the essential module that covers everything in Business Central, right from the accounting, sales and marketing, inventory management, service management, supply chain, purchasing and payables, and the project management. And this is the license price of Dynamics Business Central. So in case if you decide to go forward with Business Central, you can also try for a 30 days trial Microsoft provide. And there are two type of users available in Business Central. You can start with Essential. So in Essential, you can have all the functionality which I showed on my previous slide, and accept manufacturing. And if your company is using manufacturing, then you can go with the premium module that allows you to manage your manufacturing and as well as the service management on that. So you will get essential functionality and as well as whatever the premium module provides. And there is also a team member. So team member allow you to manage like a create sales and purchase order with the limited amount, with the limited rights. So the user who are not using the full module, they would be able to use Microsoft team members with the limited functionality. So the by and large, this is the license and the functionality of Business Central. So if you guys are interested knowing more about like what could be the implementation look alike, we also have a free needs analysis, and we can have one-to-one session with the customers or the department who would like to use the Business Central, and we can learn about your requirements. And if you already have Microsoft 365 subscription, Microsoft runs promotion like a business promotion. You will get 10% discount on top of that, what price I was showing you earlier. And you can also take this advantage of this subscription if you are already, I mean, if you are already using Microsoft subscription. And we have a Q&A session. Let me see if we have any questions. Yeah, let me enable the microphone for you, Vishal, and probably you can able to.
Hi.
Yes, hi.
Hello.
Yeah, I just want to know how much that would cost for implementation, like the whole.
The mobile device, or are you talking the back office that we showed in Dynamics?
No, in like if we want to purchase the Business Central with premium license, what will be the implementation fees?
So the implementation can be done with the various, ways. So right now we don't know what would be the exact functionality or requirement that you would be having in your company. But if
Okay.
you are interested learning more about the implementation price, we can definitely have a separate call with you and go from there.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, the by and large, the license price is straightforward, and then Microsoft also provide the same pricing in their website, so there won't be any concern on the pricing. But the yeah implementation, that's the most important part. So we can have a discovery call with you next week or like whenever you guys are available, and from there we would be able to provide some kind of a um, implementation price.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Let me see if there is any other questions we have. Yeah, I don't think so. There is any other question I see.
No. Sean, they use the WMS that's built in. You can have Essentials or Premium. It's a base.
Yeah, there was one more question. If I show this correctly, do you the item movement with the movement worksheet?
You don't have to set it up on the item card, but if you want to be able to run that calculate bin replenishment, you have to give it some parameters so it knows what to recommend. You can do movements just by using, there's a functionality called get bin contents. You can simply enter an item in that, and then you can click get bin contents. It'll populate the movement worksheet with that item and all the bin it's in, and then you can decide which bin and do it manually. But if you want it to recommend, like we showed there at the end, you would have to have those mins and maxes set up on the bin itself for that item. And then when you run that, it would recommend to restock it from your bulk to your pick location.
Perfect.
The team member license is a read only, the $8 a month license, right, Mitesh? The team members,
Yeah.
it is read only.
Yeah, I mean, you can also create like the limited like let's say you can also create a purchase order, but you won't be able to like post it, so they can do a limited activities with the team member license.
John, for your question, if you were going to use handheld scanners, what you would buy is a device license, and then you can have as many team members as you want. You put them in a group in your 365 admin center for Microsoft Dynamics device user group, and then based off the number of licenses you have and devices, you could have 20 members in there, but if you only have 5 licenses, only 5 people can be signed into a device at a time. But if you had 10 licenses and 2 shifts, right, you would only have to pay for 10 licenses, but could have 20 members and 10 use it during the day and 10 use it during the evening. And those are a slightly cheaper license. They don't have to have essentials to do the posting of picking and stuff like that in your warehouse. But it's not a team member license, it's a device license.
Correct, yep. And there is another question from the Sean. If I sell the product I'm currently out of stock, can this system force to reorder?
It doesn't, Sean, it doesn't necessarily force a reorder, but it can recommend. So at the time of like the sales order entry, if you enter in, let's say you only have 50 in stock and somebody wants to order 100, or you have 0 in stock and somebody wants to order some, when you first enter that item on the sales order, it'll pop up and give you a little pop-up screen where from that screen, it'll say, hey, you don't have this in stock, and there's a button to click and you can create a purchase order right from there if the same people entering your sales orders are the people entering your purchase orders. But true, like it forces, like systematically creates the PO, could be done, but it would take a little bit deeper discussion about getting that. But out of the box, there's a pop-up that says, hey, you don't have this, would you like to order it? And then you can place an order.
John,
Rick, no. You cannot have multiple people set up under each license unless, like, devices are the only thing where you can have multiple people associated. Dropship items, that can be done. Okay, so I apologize. A dropship item, you have the ability on the item card to specify an item has a purchasing option like of dropship, and then it will automatically, when that item gets entered on a sales order for a single item, create the PO in the background from the vendor that then needs to be fulfilled for that item to specifically dropship to your customer. So that is possible with dropship items. They're just set up slightly different. When you enter them on a sales order, it automatically creates and links the purchase order to that sales order. And then once that purchase order is received, then it automatically ships through the sales order.
Yeah, and for the device license, it would be about like $48 per month. That's what we have in Business Central. All right, I think that's all we have in the questions, and let me see if we have left anything. All right, guys, thanks for joining. And if you have any further questions or would like to discuss your specific requirement in more detail, please do not hesitate to call us. And you can also follow us on social media, where we have tons of Business Central learning videos available. Thank you and have a great day.